Revolution Organics is a high-quality compost made with commercially collected food waste from the lower mainland of British Columbia. It's free of manures, free of biosolids, and is a Class A compost, meaning it can be used in organic crop production. Compost is the fundamental building block of healthy soil. It helps to build soil porosity, improve water retention, it provides organic matter, it increases microbial activity, and delivers nutrients over time. It replaces the need for many chemical fertilizers and helps improve yield and production. As we see and feel the ongoing effects of climate change, incorporating compost into your farming practice will become more important than ever.
So when we think about life on the planet Earth, we're looking at a planet where all life essentially survives and thrives and lives off of a very thin layer on the Earth's crust. In that layer, we take nutrients, whether it's people, animals, plants, trees, we all take nutrients out of that layer. So having the opportunity to put some nutrients back in that layer in a sustainable fashion is something that's always intrigued me and something that I was quite interested in being part of, to be honest. So we do that by taking food scraps, essentially a waste product that historically was destined to end up in a landfill. And we collect the food waste with our parent company, Revolution Resource Recovery.
For us, waste is not a factor. It does not exist anymore. More so than ever before, people care where these materials are going and what's being done with them. We're going to take those materials, we're going to turn them into a superior product. It's a material that can be diverted and be reused or generated into something else. Once the materials are collected in our trucks and they're brought here to our facility, those materials are sorted on the floor and then they're second sorted in a line, which is a manual pick. Packaged materials such as packaged foods, packaged organics come to our facility and they're depacked. And that organic material then goes up to our facility in Lytton to be generated into compost.
So it's shipped up to the ranch in trucks, dropped off on our location and processed daily. The material goes through a tub grinder where it's blended and mixed and made uniform. We take it and we stack it on our air pad where we force air up through the pile and allow the microbes and bacteria to begin to go through what's called the pathogen reduction stage. So one of the issues we face with food waste is plastic's part of our world today. It's hard to separate plastic from food, whether it's a cucumber with a wrapper or whether it's a head of lettuce with a wrapper, even a banana with a sticker on it. It all adds up. So the plastics or larger plastics are removed so we don't continue to break them down into smaller pieces. Once we go through that screening plant, we go down to our curing pad where we form the material into windrows. We turn it with a dedicated piece of machinery, a windrow turner, which allows it to circulate the material so all the material gets equal treatment. Once it's done there, we go into curing piles. It mineralizes and the nutrient levels begin to increase. From there, we go through a final screening process where we screen to a very small particle size. We remove the larger chunks of wood, we remove any contamination.
I had been comparing different products over the years to try to find one that would work best for us. Revolution's was a superior product. It's a fully finished compost. It's not coming hot, and when a compost comes hot, it's not fully turned yet, and so it still has a breakdown process to do. That breakdown process uses microbials, and those microbials use nitrogen. So when I put it down on the soil, I could see a deficit in the growth that we had and the color of the vines on the old compost. With the Revolutions, I'm not seeing that at all. I'm seeing just the fully finished compost go down, and the plants are responding well to it.
We're in June now. We have not sprayed our crops with anything at all. It's all biological because we can keep that healthy crop going. We use a compost for disease suppression in the soil, but also facility for transfer of nutrients to the plants. It also keeps healthy plants so we can use less natural pesticides. The amount of volume we use, we need a sustainable supply and constant supply. When they've said that we're going to get it, we get it. We know it's going to be there.
It's good to have a neighbour that's close by, has lots of compost. We're trying to do things in a way that's a bit different than other people, using local inputs and trying to better the value of the soil, not just value in terms of the monetary value, but in terms of microbial life and load. And then adding the compost. Compost has a lot of microbes, and that enables some other nutrients to be delivered to the root system. So that's the purpose of adding compost. There is water along this farm in multiple lines coming from that mountain. So it's all glacial water underneath. Our water we feed the plants are also glacial. It's actually got a high pH, so compost also helps us in that regard. It helps us get our mixtures right, and then the plants are happier.
You'd have to look at a facility like Lytton, where the soil content and quality is relatively low. It's very sandy. So the growth aspect of things wasn't really good up there, but the region has the heat and the sun. Bring in, introduce our compost to the farming community up there, mixed with those soils, then becomes a great growing matter, and you get extremely good crops and you get a higher percentage of crop growth.
One of the things we do on the ranch here is we have about 120 acres of certified organic alfalfa, and we have a herd of about 60 cattle. The hay produced feed the cattle on our farm. We keep them on farm year round, so 100% of the food for our cattle is achieved on the farm here, and it goes back initially to the use of compost to promote those growing opportunities.
You know, us doing our part by trying to reutilize things that people have had a go at and put them back in the soil, I think that's a good thing. A lot of the other compost comes from manures and things like that, which is reused as well, but you're getting a lot of wood and biomass with that's unneeded. And so I like the fully finished sifted product that you get from Revolution.
Not only do we recycle and divert materials, but because we generate compost and we grow organic alfalfa and other organic materials, we can do the full circle, bring those materials back to the Lower Mainland, so it stays within the region.
Instead of going out and chasing raw resources all the time, it's very nice to be in a situation where I'm involved with renewing resources, taking products post-consumer and turning them back into a beneficial product that's going to produce more products for the consumer at the end of the day.